command. So indeed, Mr. Secretary, Administrator Williams himself told me during his confirmation hearing, and I'll quote, "I would not advise testing, and I think we should rely on scientific information." So Secretary Wright, I'm going to cite your very impressive educational resume with engineering degrees from MIT and Berkeley, and so many experts in agreement that there's no technical or strategic need to resume explosive nuclear testing. Can you commit today that this administration will not conduct an explosive nuclear test, yes or no?
Well, Senator Rosen, ultimately that decision comes down to the commander-in-chief.
If you were asked, what would your advice be then? Let me phrase it another way. You advise the president. Of course, any president has that right, but what would your advice be as an engineer, as a scientist, as a secretary?
This year, again, the leaders of the weapons laboratories and the Stratcom commander, again, certified our weapons stockpile as reliable from the non-explosive testing we do. I think our arsenal is ready to go, but there may be other...
God bless you. Welcome back, fellow Patriots. This is America Truth Channel, where we stand for peace through strength, American energy dominance, and a military second to none. Today, we're reacting to a Senate hearing where radical Democrat Senator Jacky Rosen from Nevada directly asks Energy Secretary Chris Wright if the Trump administration plans to resume explosive nuclear testing. Rosen is clearly fishing for headlines, trying to paint the administration as reckless for even considering what every strong nation does to maintain its deterrent. Listen to this, Patriots. Rosen is pressing hard, acting like resuming nuclear testing would be some apocalyptic decision. This is the same party that has spent years weakening our military, pushing Green New Deal fantasies that hurt our energy security, and treating our nuclear arsenal like it's optional. Patriots, let's get straight to the point. Nuclear testing is not about starting wars. It's about ensuring our arsenal works when we need it most. The United States has not conducted a full-scale explosive nuclear test since 1992. That's over 30 years of relying on computer simulations and stockpile stewardship while our adversaries, China, Russia, North Korea, and Iran, modernize and test their weapons. As a right-wing patriot who believes in peace through strength, a strong national defense, and never letting America fall behind our enemies, my opinion is crystal clear.
Senator Rosen.
Thank you, Senator Rounds, for 5 seconds. Do I get to keep those, Senator
No,
Baker?
ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you to the witnesses for being here today. I want to get right into it, Mr. Secretary, because the Nevada National Security Site, as we call it in Nevada, still the Nevada Test Site, was ground zero for the majority of the United States explosive nuclear testing from 1951 to 1992, when 100 atmospheric tests and 828 underground tests were conducted. All of us who lived in Nevada back then remember the days when the ground shook beneath us the first Saturdays of every month. You'd look over and say, oh, just a nuclear bomb going off. You know, many have lost their lives because of the testing. Others bear the scars of radiation exposure to this day. Radiation exposure, the invisible enemy. And so since that time, the site has done critical work to certify the reliability, safety, and effectiveness of our nuclear stockpile, but without the need for explosive testing, either above or below ground. There's new projects under construction that's going to help the site provide even greater certainty and data about the performance of the U.S. nuclear stockpile, far better data, experts say, than the information that could be gleaned if the U.S. were to, unfortunately, and I say this to our peril, conduct an explosive nuclear test, as President Trump and some in his orbit have advocated. In fact, every Secretary of Energy since the Clinton administration has certified the integrity of our nuclear stockpile and certified that we do not need to resume testing. The same has been repeatedly certified by the directors of our national labs, multiple secretaries of defense under both Democrat and Republican presidents, and all commanders of strategic command. So indeed, Mr. Secretary, Administrator Williams himself told me during his confirmation hearing, and I'll quote, "I would not advise testing, and I think we should rely on scientific information." So, Secretary Wright, I'm going to cite your very impressive educational resume with engineering degrees from MIT and Berkeley, and so many experts in agreement that there's no technical or strategic need to resume explosive nuclear testing. Can you commit today that this administration will not conduct an explosive nuclear test, yes or no?
Well, Senator Rosen, ultimately that decision comes down to the commander-in-chief.
If you were asked, what would your advice be then? Let me phrase it another way. You advise the president. Of course, any president has that right, but what would your advice be as an engineer, as a scientist, as a secretary?
This year, again, the leaders of the weapons laboratories and the Stratcom commander, again, certified our weapons stockpile as reliable from the non-explosive testing we do. I think our arsenal is ready to go, but there may be other reasons for which the commander-in-chief may want to engage in a nuclear test.
So you will disagree then with your, again, extensive educational achievements and studies, and as a scientist, disagree with scientists and administrations going back to the 1990s and the data that shows that renewed explosive testing is unnecessary. You are going to disagree with that. You think there's still a need for it. You're going to disagree with all the experts.
You're misunderstanding what I'm saying.
Well, just as yes or no, you agree that there's a need for explosive testing or not?
To assure the reliability of our weapons, there is not a need for explosive testing.
Thank you. Administrator Williams, do you agree with the experts it's unnecessary for the United States to resume explosive nuclear testing of any kind? I know it's not your decision. I'm asking what your recommendation would be based on the information, expert scientific information that we have going back decades, Democrat and Republican and independent alike scientists.
Mr. Secretary, state your opinion, but not what your recommendation would be.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And Senator Rosen, we conduct more than 1,000 tests on our nuclear stockpile every year. We test all kinds of components to make sure of their reliability. I assure you that no one doubts the efficacy and quality of our weapons. I guarantee you that our adversaries have no question about how well our weapons work. The question of testing, I think, is this hearing demonstrates, is a multidimensional problem. There is a technical component to it, and I support the Secretary's statement, but there is a geopolitical and a political component to it as well. And all of those decisions rest in the hands of the President, as they should, because all of it relates to deterrence.
I was asking about your opinion on the science, but thank you. I'm going to submit a question for the record about the NNSA, the funding that was zeroed out for construction. You've been down to the tunnels that verify the integrity of our nuclear stockpile. We received no money for that due to some technical errors. I'm going to send a letter to your office. Hopefully we can discuss that because we need to continue. You've been down there. We need to continue to keep that project going and correct that technical error.
The Nevada test site is a great asset for the United States and our national security, and we are going to continue to make significant investments in that. It's a critical mission for our nuclear security.
Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Rosen. And yes, all members are encouraged to submit statements for.
We must maintain a safe, reliable, and credible nuclear deterrent. If that requires limited, responsible testing to certify our aging warheads, then we should do it without apology. Senator Rosen's questioning reeks of the typical Democrat weakness, signaling to our adversaries that America is hesitant to maintain its strength. China is rapidly expanding its nuclear arsenal. Russia is modernizing. We cannot afford to let our stockpile atrophy while depending on outdated models and simulations that may not reflect real-world performance. Secretary Chris Wright gave measured, professional answers, emphasizing safety and reliability. That's exactly what we need. Adults in the room who understand deterrence isn't achieved by wishful thinking or unilateral disarmament. Democrats love to scare the public with nuclear testing equals end of the world rhetoric while ignoring how their policies have weakened our conventional forces, depleted munitions in Ukraine, and made us more reliant on a nuclear umbrella that itself needs maintenance. The Biden-Harris era was defined by weakness, open borders, energy dependence, and military recruitment crises. Now they're questioning whether we should verify our most important weapons work. Real national security means modernizing our nuclear triad, bombers, submarines, ICBMs, conducting necessary tests when simulations are insufficient, maintaining overwhelming strength so no enemy dares attack us or our allies, rejecting the leftist fantasy of disarmament that invites aggression. This hearing highlights the fundamental divide. Patriots understand that weakness invites war, while strength preserves peace. History proves it. Reagan's peace through strength won the Cold War. Weakness under Carter and others invited Soviet aggression. Patriots, if you're tired of radical Democrats like Jacky Rosen playing politics with our national security and trying to shame America for maintaining its nuclear deterrent, smash that like button right now. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss these critical breakdowns. Drop your comment below. Should America resume limited nuclear testing to ensure our arsenal works? Or should we continue relying on computer models while China builds up? Share this video with every patriot, every veteran, and every American who understands peace comes through strength. We stand for the strongest military on earth, energy dominance, secure borders, and a foreign policy that puts America first. Our nuclear deterrent has kept the peace for decades. We must keep it reliable and credible. God bless our military. God bless Energy Secretary Chris Wright, and God bless the United States of America. I'll see you in the next video. Stay strong and stay vigilant, Patriots.